Hi, horse racing enthusiasts. This is John, and it's Saturday afternoon, just before the Risen Star Stakes, and we thought we'd do a quick video. There's a couple little updates to the Derby trail, if you will, but there's no real shakeup in the top list. So what I want to do is just remind you of the top 5 horses that we have on the Derby trail, and then go through a couple of the updates. All right, I think we'll do that, and then stay tuned because I have some thoughts regarding the 13th race at Fairgrounds, which is the Risen Star Stakes. There's 3-4 horses in there that could be in the Kentucky Derby, so I think it'd be worthwhile to hang in there for. So the first thing I wanted to mention is I just wanted to regroup and remind you from last week, and we'll have the schedule Monday or Tuesday this week. We'll resend it out because there's going to be some changes. There'll be some shakeups on it because of this race today. So first is Forte. Second is Arabian Nights. This is a Baffert trained horse. Third is Cave Rock. That is also a Baffert trained horse, and that's going to become important in a second. Fourth, I have as Rocket Can, the winner of the Holy Bull, trained by Bill Mott. And the fifth is a Cox horse, Instant Coffee. So those are the 5. They didn't really change. If you look I'm not saying go to any other channel, but if you would go out and see other people's and the list, let's say at the Daily Racing Form or something along those lines, they're probably going to be the same 5. Maybe they'll be 4 out of 5, that kind of thing. Okay, so that was the first part. Second one, just a little bit different than that, is if you watched the video last week, I mentioned if things went well, I'd do a Derby futures bet, and things went well, so I did a Derby futures bet. I put a futures wager to win on 2 horses. Red Route 1, which is 58. That was a 58 to 1 odd, so that's pretty good odds. And then Giant Mischief. Both are long shots, but what's the point of doing a futures bet on if you can't get good long shot odds? So that's what we did. All right, so coming right to it, I just wanted to do a quick update on the Baffert scenario. So just coming out of Kentucky yesterday, Baffert's motion to drop the suspension. He's pleading all kinds of things. His attorneys are doing all kinds of things, saying the judge is biased, the judge's husband's biased, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, I don't really get into the details. At the end of the day, motion denied. So it's looking more and more like Baffert will not be able to train horses because this will be the second Kentucky Derby and his suspension is for 2 Kentucky Derbies. So we expect Baffert to begin to transfer the training of these horses over to either an assistant trainer or another trainer for the Kentucky Derby. And really what we're talking about is Arabian Nights, by all accounts, is going to be one of the top horses. Cave Rock. And there's a horse running in today's, which actually I like, all right? So the horse running in today's, sorry, it's just skipping my mind. Yeah, it's the 5 in the 13th race at Fairgrounds is Harlow Cap. Now Harlow Cap, their owners, who are Hardo Stables Corp in Villa Rosa, they already transferred the ownership. They said, we think we have a good horse. I assume this is what they said anyhow. We have a good horse. We don't want to be involved in this. And they've gone right out to Steve Asmussen. So Asmussen, you look at the past performances for this horse, and he's been running out on the West Coast. You say, well, Asmussen doesn't really have a barn out there. What's going on there? Well, what happened is they transferred the training of that horse to Steve Asmussen, and now he's running, and it's running down at Fairgrounds today. I think the horse has a shot. Hasn't run since the end of January. Speed horse. There's a lot of speed in the race. So he's got to punch his chance. So we'll watch that. So Baffert motion denied. He's likely going to have to transfer training of all his horses. Now, quick update of last week. I think it was uneventful. Sort of. I hate to say it that way, but I don't know that the Derby Trail horses, the winners of those horses, are really going to sort of hit the list. Probably the most likely to hit it is the winner of the Withers Stakes up at Aqueduct, and that was Hit Show, no pun intended. And Hit Show looks like a decent horse, but based on just that win, I don't think that we can move him up. We'll keep an eye on him, and I'll put him down the bottom of sort of our watch list, but I don't think it's someone that we're going to sort of, I don't think we have to worry about it. Now, Likewise, the winner of the El Camino Real, Chase Caicos, and the winner of the Tampa Bay Derby. Like, the Tampa Bay Derby was a mess. Excuse me. Started raining, the track was getting wet, bad break. W. Nell was the favorite, and he has points on the Derby. Was nowhere to be found. He was in traffic and couldn't get out, and it was like a terrible race. Litigate won the race, and we'll see. Next stop will be the Tampa Bay Derby. If Litigate wins again, then he'll be in the Kentucky Derby, and we'll see how he goes from there. So again, no real update. Today's going to be the update. Today's race, the Risen Star Stakes, is going to be the race to watch. And I looked at this race, and there's a couple of key horses in there. First of all, everyone loves Victory Formation. Ran 3 times. Has 10 to 20 Derby points. Won 3 straight races, and has done everything correct. Likely winner of this race if he can do one thing, and I'll get into that in a second. When I look at this race, Harlow Cap, Determinedly, Victory Formation, and Private Creed all have front speed, meaning that there's a lot of pace in this race. So what does that mean? So when I analyze a race and when I look at this, I say, okay, what's the speed? Is there controlling speed? Is one horse that can run the speed, slow the race down, and then win the race, right? That's usually how the speed will win on the race. With 5, there's a good chance we're going to get a speed duel here. So what happens next? What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for someone who's a close closer, that I call a close closer, meaning it stays 1 to 3 lengths off the leaders and then closes as the race goes forward, or a deep closer or closer, where you're 5, 7 lengths off the lead and the race completely breaks down from a pace standpoint, and you see something like Rich Strike in the Kentucky Derby. So with our closes, we have a number of them, right? You've heard this name before, Curly Jack. He's on the Derby Trail. He's got points. He's always seems to be around the top 3 of the races that he runs in. Tapit's Conquest, 2-3 races, looked really good in his last race. Got a couple of points associated with the Kentucky Derby. A lot of momentum. Looks like a legit, runner. As the races get longer, the Tapit horses come back into it, right? A lot of them have early tactical speed, which he likely does. But what happens is, as the race gets longer, they're bred. They have stamina, if you will, right? So they're usually longer races, the route races, as we say. Angel of Empire is another one. Cruppy, I want to come back to in Silver Heist, right? All these horses, that's what I call the closers, and what I think are horses that are going to impact this. Now, this Cruppy horse is very interesting, right? So we have a stakes race, Kentucky Derby points on the line, and this Cruppy horse, is run, I don't know, 3-5 times and just can't, it looks like 5 times, and can't win. He's a maiden. And by all counts, it's just like bad luck. Should have won 2 back. I looked at that race this morning. He's finishing 2nd and 3rd in these races. But Rapoli is the owner, and Pletcher is the trainer. And they're like, we think this horse has it. We're running him in this stakes race, this graded stakes race. It's grade 2. And we don't care that he's a maiden. And, I've seen him run, and, I think he's a good horse. So he's likely going to be in it. All right, so the next one I look at is pedigree. What are the pedigrees of this horse? And we got some major pedigrees here. And then I also look at, in addition to the pedigree, does he have the pedigree to go to the mile in the 8th, right? That's a key question. The other is, who has this, from a class standpoint, who has the horses run against, right? Some might have an unbeaten record, 2 or 3 races, but they've only run their maiden special and a couple of allowance races, right? Whereas some have a whole host of graded stakes wins and losses. So I looked at this from a couple of standpoints. Victory Formation, Two Fields, Curly Jack, Private Creed, they all seem to have a very good pedigrees. Victory Formation is one that I wanted to mention, right? Everyone loves Victory Formation, and when I look at this, he's a Taprit, which I think I talked about it last week. I love Taprit, and on the underside is Smart Strike is the Grand Sire. But his Thomason figure for the distance is only 294, likely the lowest. I'm not going to check them all right now, but I think it's pretty close to the lowest of all the horses in this field. So what does that tell me? Well, for this individual horse, it might not mean anything. Or it could mean that as the races get longer, he gets challenged from being able to withstand sort of the pressures of the races. So as the races get more difficult, the horses get better, the distances get further, the pressure on these horses to retain that speed and the endurance through the whole entire race becomes greater. And this is where, it's kind of like the primary race in politics, right? It's like all these little races mean something. They all add up and the winners rise to the top, if you will. All right, so so I mentioned about him. And then the one thing I want to also mention is Private Creed. Let me just grab this. Indulge me for one more second on this. So Private Creed is by Jimmy Creed, and then underneath South Andros is the I don't know South Andros, the dame. And Steve Asmussen's trainer, Tyler Gaffleone, who we loved. He rode Got Stormy. 12-1 morning line. And here's the interesting thing about this thing. You look at him, and he's only run on turf. And you say, wow, that's interesting. He's running a dirt race and on the Derby Trail, and he's only run on turf. Okay, let's keep that in the back of our hat. And then I looked at November 4th, he ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, a grade 1, and came in second, closing like a son of a gun, and almost won the race, right? It looks like he was out of length. So here we got is a proven turf sprinter, and Asmussen's putting him in 1.1 miles on the dirt for the Derby Trail. What is this telling us? And what this tells me is two things. That Asmussen and the owner, who is Mike McCarty, believe they have a good horse here. They believe and they know for some reason that he can run on the dirt, right? And I'm sure that his dirt pedigree, I think on the bottom side I heard this morning, Sky Mesa, I recognize Sky Mesa as the Grand Sire. They have dirt pedigree on the bottom side. So it looks like he can probably do it. And, you come in any of the Triple Crown races, second, third, you still make money. And who knows, maybe he can win this race. Now, here's the other angle that I like. And he's going to be my pick for today. I don't know if you've noticed. I dove into this just a little bit. And what I'm going to say is he's a turf sprinter. I can't say champion because he came in second by a head, right? But he's right up there in all of the turf horses for sprints. So what do you think is going to happen? He's coming from the 14 hole. He's got a little bit of a stretch to cut over before the turn, but he's going to be up there. And if you're up there, that's half the battle. It's half the battle in Kentucky Derby, and it's half the battle here. Now, once you get up there, you have to rate, and you have to be able to sort of get into your groove. And judging from his last race, he ran a mile. Looks like he lost by a head, right? But I'm thinking that was on turf. But I'm thinking he's going to handle the dirt well, and I think he's going to have the endurance it's going to take. So, and I think he's going to have the odds that we want to go. So my pick is going to be in the 13th race at Fairgrounds today. Is going to be the 14 Private Creed. Now, I would also say that the 13 Victory Formation is a good, solid horse. And if you wanted to do like an exacta bet, I would do 8, 13, and 14. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So there you go. We'll recap this in our next video, which will likely be the Sunday or Monday, right? After this, we'll digest who wins, why they won, who's on the Derby Trail now, did anyone move up into the top 5, and where do we go from here? All right? So thanks, horse racing enthusiasts. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day today at the track. If you like the videos, please go ahead and like it. Please subscribe. And here's the other thing. If you really like the videos and you like the content that's going on here, tell someone about it, right? Tell 2 friends and they'll tell 2 friends and so on. So thanks for your help, everyone. Have a good day at the races and good luck.